I must change the topic. I'm not. I'll still talk about designing for course where science meets reality in Darwin's politics. I'll still talk about that, but I just want to make a few comments and add on to conversations that have been happening since the morning. And maybe the topic I should have chosen today is decanting responsibility. Thank you, Greg. I'm quoting you there. Where is he? I don't see him. but thank you, Greg. With that, and make a few comments on that, but what is architecture? I've been asking that question quite often, especially when I'm standing out in public. What is architecture? What do we do? Everyone has their own definition. With that in mind, within our professionalism, we normally split up into different, I'm not going to call it categories, but types. Some love doing site work, some like doing contractual work, some like doing design, and some like the technology, or kind of tend towards doing that. Yet architecture is a combination of all of that, almost in equal parts, especially the science stroke technology and the visual aesthetic. It comes in equal doses. The sad thing I find about current education, current paradigms going around is, and it comes down to decanting responsibility, is that architects must just do the aesthetic. And I find that really sad. I don't think Vitruvius would have been happy with that. No, Vishwakarma from India, some of the earliest texts on architecture was written by these two. So yeah, thanks, George. So I'm looking at my timer there. I don't have a watch on my hand, so I'm going to spend a little bit more time here. Responsibility. If you're designing a middle income type house, standard, architectural house, you're not designing the parts in this case. Just imagine this project, Durban North, a 2 million rand house, or a family. Are you going to sub out and tell the client, you still pay me my full fee, but I do not want to take the responsibility of designing the entrance route and the driveway. Please hire a traffic engineer. I do not want to take the responsibility of designing your on-site sewer system because Durban Metro can't provide you a sewer here, so hire a specialist, geotechnical engineer or another professional that can do an on-site sewer disposal system. Are you going to do that? And I'm going to declare my feelings, it's your job. If you're going to ask the client to sub out those two things, energy efficiency, sorry, I don't know how the sewer flows from the toilet to that on-site sewer system or to the connection point. Please get a wetworks engineer in. I don't know how big your water meter must be. Get a wetworks engineer, please. I don't know how this is going to work. Please get this specialist engineer or something of that sort. Then, if your fee, just rounding off figures, is supposed to be 7%, and you subbed out all of those responsibilities, who's going to pay for that? Just from an economical point of view, who's going to pay for that? Those are the questions we need to ask ourselves. And I'm not pointing figures, I'm not saying which is right, which is wrong. I'm just putting questions out there for us to think about. Yes, if you're designing the piles, then go and get those specialists. Or, well, I'm just saying the piles, but a building similar to that. The last speaker. Sorry, I didn't get the name. I don't see him around. I think we'll have conversations later. Specifier. Thanks. Thank you, Specifier. Again, and this links directly with what I'm talking about, designing for coastal resilience or sands versus buildings, minimum compliance. What are we trying to achieve? So this isn't far from the topic I'm actually going to be presenting about. But over and above the cladding systems that Specifier is talking about, if you should understand, it's not that you don't, you should understand the different walling types. The client wants to maximize his building. You're doing cladding, portal frame structure, let's call it factory or type building, right? Whatever the use is, but the factory type, portal frame, sheeted buildings. It's a type and wall. The bigger the wall is on elevation, the further away from the boundary. The client wants to maximize it. So you design it to maximize it, too close to the boundary, doesn't comply with Part T. You go then to the fire engineer. So it's an afterthought to go to the fire engineer, and the fire engineer says, either sprinkler systems or something of that sort, or you can build a solid wall here, but it's too high for a solid wall, so we need to put beams and reinforce and do this. And it bumps up the initial estimate of the building by 25%. Is the client going to be happy? You can save the 25% by making the building smaller, but the client has already gone to the bank, gotten the funding based on his ROI on the size of the building that you designed. What's going to happen? Sorry, I'm talking quite fast because this isn't part of the presentation, but it links to the presentation. So it seems that, and that's why I say detailing, where SANS actually meets a reality. And it's not to do with, SANS is too strict. SANS is actually not too strict. It's a bare minimum that you have to do. So it's actually a bad building if you just barely comply. Okay. There's more I wanted to talk to you about. Specifier had some really interesting points to be made. I think I just want to comment there that while I'm not critiquing her presentation, I actually don't like the word green building. You want a green building? She had a nice picture in one of her presentation slides of a building painted green. I say, you want a green building? Go and paint the building green. I don't even like the word sustainability, because what does sustainability mean? Go and define it. It means keeping at the same rate. So if the rate is negative, well, technically that's what the stats are showing. Stats can be manipulated, etc., etc. Whatever you believe, I say, I don't care what you believe in. Or what is really happening out there. That's what we need to look at and understand. So if that rate is a negative rate, sustainability means keeping it at the same rate. So sustainable buildings still doesn't make sense. Really doesn't. We actually don't want to achieve sustainability because it means if you're heading towards destruction, sustainable means yes, you are going to reach destruction. Okay. Excuse me. I've just recovered from the flu. I still have a bit of a sore throat, so forgive me for that. With that in mind, let's get down to this, and if you have time, then you can do the Q&A, or I can go on with the other stuff I was talking about. That's not me. I'm pressing the wrong button. No, that's not me.